Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of The Ranting Redhead. And I am the host, Aiden. Been away for a while, but I'm back. It's funny, I actually recorded 2 episodes throughout the last few months, just because I've been very busy with school, but that's over now. But no, I literally recorded 2 episodes. One of them I couldn't upload because it involved a few other people in it, and they did not want it out there, so I said no. And then I recorded one about a month ago, and all the audio got fucked up, so I'm blaming my teacher since I recorded it in his studio and not mine, because my microphone also shit the bed within the past few months, and now I got this new one. So, yay, I'm back, baby! So, without further ado, let's get back to the classic rant. I don't have it scripted or anything, but I got some bullet points of something that happened to me recently. Today, in fact. So, I've been suffering from pretty bad insomnia, but I never had the chance to actually go to see a doctor because I was taking 7 classes and working 30 hours a week. It was a lot, so I had no time. So today I finally made an appointment, and they couldn't get me in until September. Then I was like, okay, I will go anywhere. Like, just get me in. I don't care if it's here. And then they said June. I'm like, oh, okay, terrific. And I'm like, well, why? September? Okay, if we can't get more doctors, here's what I'm proposing. Stop having kids. That or we need to start killing off the elderly, because kids and elderly are both as useless as can be. And I need to get my insomnia straightened out, so I'm blaming the elderly. Fuck you. Get off my lawn. But I mean, seriously, if you look at me, I practically look like I'm dying anyway, so can't I just get a courtesy, like, okay, 2 weeks or so? Something. Instead, I got it at the end of June. Yay! Terrific. So I get to suffer for another month with my insomnia. You know what sucked about that is, I think it's really caused me to age horribly, from lack of sleep. I saw a picture of myself from a year ago. Boy, did I look a lot younger. I didn't look like no spring chicken, believe me, but younger than how I look now. And it's funny, I was talking to someone yesterday. This is a perfect segue. I was talking to someone yesterday, and I said, how old do I look? Because I made a joke. I'm like, yeah, I'm 19. They said, oh, what? And I was like, oh, really? Is it that bad? And they said, you look like you're in your late 20s. I'm like, what the fuck? And then I beat the crap out of them. Nah, I'm just kidding. But I was hanging out with 2 people yesterday, and oh my god, I can't deal with stoners who love philosophy. It's just so boring. Like, okay. Like, I wrote down one of the things they were talking about. They were talking about how deep that episode of SpongeBob is, where SpongeBob has to learn about fine dining and breathing, and then he can't do anything else. They went into an in-depth discussion about how deep that episode of SpongeBob is, and I'm like, not everything has to be a deep philosophical conversation. Can't we just talk about something that everybody can unite around, like Kurt Russell or something? I don't know, that's just maybe my opinion, but it's just a classic case of me being right and others not. But then afterward, it started getting really ridiculous. Like, they started talking about, oh, poetry. Oh, poetry's this, poetry's that. It's like, oh, it could be so deep. Well, can't you just say what it fucking means? You don't need to talk about fucking trees and how we all and oh, the smallest seed can grow into the biggest tree. Shut the fuck up. Who cares? Oh my god, just say, hey, you can do this too. It's simpler, and you know what? You're not if you're talking poetry, you seem pretentious. That's all I'm saying. You seem like you're trying to be more sophisticated than the average Joe. It's like, I'm above all this because I can speak in riddles and metaphors. Oh my. I don't know why I'm doing a George Takei impression, but that's just the way I don't know. I can't think properly because I'm going through caffeine withdrawals. I haven't had a Bang energy drink in 2 weeks, so yay! But my other thing that I wanted to say is about that. Then it got really weird, because then they were fascinated because they wanted to play a game of naming the American presidents. Yeah, that was my night, and I'm just sitting there just being like, oh my god! I was literally watching Curb Your Enthusiasm the whole time, and aside from not just my hairline, but goddamn, I am really turning into Larry David, I find. I don't give a fuck about people. And I don't hate these people that I'm talking about, but it's just annoying after a while, Like, and I'll say this, they know who I am, and I can't stand sports, let alone football. I fucking hate football, and it's fine if you like it, but the whole time, like 20-minute conversations about football, and I'm just sitting there, I'm just sitting there. I'm like, why am I invited over here to talk about football where I can't contribute to the conversation? I mean, isn't that a little bit rude? Where it's like, hey, Aiden, you want to come over? Oh, sure, why not? And then all they're talking about is football. I make it known I don't like sports. So why was I invited over? Huh? I can't think of a reason. And then, because, listen, I'm not oblivious about football. Like, I know a lot of it. So I made a joke because whenever I was invited to be in the conversation, I would always try to have a zinger. And what do they say? I made a joke where I was like, because the other person said I looked like I was in my late 20s, so I made a joke like, oh, I can't contribute to football, I don't know anything about it, and I said something like, yeah, I look like I'm 49, and I made that joke because that guy's favorite team was the 49ers, and then they're like, oh, so you love football, man! And I'm like, no, I just happen to know a fucking team. I can name a couple football teams, and that happens to be one of them. I mean, seriously, oh my God. And then what was weird is they started look, I don't claim to be better than other people in some regards, because in other regards I am, but mentally I don't claim to be in a better state of mind than other people. But the whole time we're talking like, yeah, we always carry around this guilt, and the guy's like, I can always tell when someone is not feeling right. I'm like, well, I mean, I feel like it's just a common sense thing. I don't think it's anything special, but that's beside the point. And what I said was, he was saying like, oh, well, don't you, I could tell when you feel guilty, like when your cat died. I'm like, well, yeah, because my fucking cat died. What do you expect? Of course I'm going to feel sad. It's like, yeah, but you're always going to feel guilty. I'm like, guilty? What the fuck what am I feeling guilty about? It's like, well, okay, your cat died a few months ago. Don't you feel sad? I'm like, yeah, I feel sad, but it's different. I feel sad. Not sad is different than guilty. And so I don't know. And then even the other person who had not known me at this point, I just met his friend, was like, I could tell he's either lying or he's trying to bargain. I'm like, shut the fuck, get off your high horse. Everybody's stupid but me. That's just the way I feel. Listen, I am in a much healthier state of mind than I put on. Aside from the fact that I can't fucking sleep, I'm doing terrific. How are you, ladies and gentlemen? But no, the people that I'm talking about, look, I don't hate you or anything. You're fine people. Just sometimes I can't stand having philosophical conversations. They're boring to me. I don't care. Listen, I have an internal monologue, okay? I can have conversations with myself if I ever desire to talk about philosophy. I don't care to talk about it with other people because, you know what? Other people's conversations aren't as interesting as mine. So, yeah. That's just the way I feel about that. But what else is new? Oh yeah, I had another, what I'll call a Larry David moment not too long ago that I wanted to bring up, and let me know if I was in the wrong on this situation, because I really don't think I was, alright? So I'm leaving this store. Mind you, there's many different entrances to this store. I'm walking out, and there's 2 doors on the side to manually open, and then there is one that automatically opens in the middle, okay? Now, I happen to be walking out of the manual one, okay? I didn't think anything of it. And apparently I was walking out of the store. This guy coming into the store was in a wheelchair, trying to manually open the door and struggling. And I'm like, there's a fucking door. Then there's plenty of space. It's not like a one lane fucking alley, okay? We can fit a couple people in here. So I wasn't taking up any space. He could have easily wheeled on in, but then he's like, oh, you're not going to help me? And I'm like, you just go in right there. He's like, what, you can't just hold the door? I'm like, you can get in the other entrance. It's so simple. It's right there. It's not even far. You literally have to just turn right a tiny bit. That's all. So what? I gotta take time out of my day to hold a door because you refuse to actually just go in the automatic door? That's bullshit. And I think the guy was just seeking attention, looking for a fight, because I refused and I kept walking. So I don't think I was in the wrong on this situation. Was I a dick? Sure, I was probably a dick, but he started it. Listen, I'm not a pussy. I'm not going to do that. Oh, speaking of which, I'm almost positive I've told a story about this guy before, but I'll call him big nose horse fucker. Big nose horse fucker came into the store the other day, and I made it very clear to him a long time ago. I was like, you do not come around me. You do not come anywhere near me. You stay away from me. I said that because, number one, he is a creepy fucking guy. He has a criminal record. He is... Oh, God, I don't want to give away too much information. I've caught him multiple times staring at children in the store. So that's the kind of guy we're dealing with. And a lot of times he would always go to the minor women, because I was always the supervisor, so I would always take care of it. And what I would do is, anytime he went to one of the underage workers, I would always swap out, and because he hated me, he would always walk away. But what's funny is I saw him yesterday. I hadn't seen him in a while because I haven't been able to work as much because of school, but now that it's done, I'm back. And he actually came to my line, and I said, no, get the hell out of here. He's like, well, someone's going to serve me. And I said, no, you are a dick, and I refuse to serve you. He was like, well, I'm going to report you. And I said, go the fuck ahead. And, of course, he was like, well, someone's got to serve me. And I go, watch. And I throw his stuff right back in his cart, and I walk away. And he tries writing me up, and the guy goes, okay, cool. Everybody in the store hates him. It's my favorite thing. He's such an idiot. But I'm going to tell you that if you have someone in your life that's just bothering you, you know what? I'm tired of hearing you bitch about it to me. Actually, just stand up for yourself. Say fuck it. Because I can tell you, whenever I have to stand up to a customer that's pissing me the fuck off, it is the most satisfying feeling in the world. And I also found out there's a couple people in my life that I really don't want in my life anymore. Some old friends I just don't care about anymore. So I discovered something, and I don't know how I didn't discover it, because again, I love Curb Your Enthusiasm, the show. I never thought to do this, but it's so brilliant. It's like in season 10. It's okay. How does Larry David get around, not talking to people? And I'm not saying I'm going to do this. You have to hear me out. Larry David wore a Make America Great Again hat just to get people to, go away from him because they would be too scared to approach him. And he didn't think about it one way or another, but he's like, hey, I don't have to deal with people. That's fucking brilliant. I never thought of that. Because I always hate, there's one thing I say on my show whenever I want to have a guest on. I say, look, I just don't want to do anything political, otherwise I will shut it down. But that's the most brilliant thing ever. Use politics to break up with a friend. It's so smart. I never thought of it before. But that's what I'm going to do. So if someone is a hardcore Democrat, I'm going to appear the opposite, and vice versa. Because I'm very apolitical, but you know what? A lot of the people that I want to not be friends with, they're very much... I know their politics because they make it loud and proud, and I don't care. Politics is not a personality. It makes me so fucking insane. People that just talk politics and act like, oh, they're cool. They think that they're the cool ones because they love this person. They make it loud and proud any time of the fucking year. It's so annoying. Can't you just... Look, I don't care how you lean politically. It really does not bother me. But the one thing I can't stand is when you make it known 24/7, I support this person, I hate this person. I'm tired of hearing it. I really don't care who you support. And you know what? If you support someone that strongly, well, I can't support our friendship. So go suck a horse cock and get the fuck out of my life. I'm sick of it. Ay, fucking vey. Feels good to be back, baby. But I'm very glad that school's over, because I was doing 7 classes, and thank goodness. But it was a fun time, I will say. I'll tell you a funny story. So I was in the radio broadcasting club, And back in February, like late February, we were going to New York City just for a day, just to this like radio conference thing, the Intercollegiate Broadcast Conference. And I made a joke because that day happened to fall on the same day that Cocaine Bear came out. I said, hey, why don't we skip the conference and literally just go to a cool theater and see Cocaine Bear? And that's exactly what we did. I did not think that was actually going to happen, but holy shit, everybody agreed to it, except for one person. Everybody but one agreed to it. And granted, there were only, how many of us were there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 students and 2 teachers. And including myself, 5 of the students actually snuck off to go see Cocaine Bear. We had to go to downtown Manhattan to the Alamo Draft House to go see Cocaine Bear. And what's funny is the whole way down, like the other guy, he was like, no, I'm going to get educated. He's like, I'm going to get business cards. I'm going to go to a nice fancy restaurant. You guys are going to go see Cock Bear, is what he kept calling it. And so we snuck away to see Cocaine Bear. And by the way, I hate everybody that hated Cocaine Bear. I don't care. It's so fucking fun. You're an idiot if you don't like it. I'm sorry. It's not a great movie, but it's so much fun. And I got an Irish coffee when we went there. It was 1 p.m. And holy crap, it was so that theater experience was one of the best of my life. But I'll tell you another one after. But what's funny is we went back to the conference, found everyone, we left, and the guy who refused to go with us, oh my god, he didn't get any business card, number one. He probably doesn't remember most of what he saw. And what did he do? Because I made a joke to him. I said, because he kept saying, I'm going to go to a nice restaurant. And I said, he's probably going to Burger King or something. We came back. He went to a fucking McDonald's. Instead, you're in Manhattan. Like, go find a place. And what's funny is he had to pass several restaurants to get to this McDonald's. He's like, well, I didn't have time. I'm like, you passed Ray's Famous Pizza. You passed so many places just to go to McDonald's. Oh, it was amazing. But I'll tell you another one of the best theater experiences ever. This story involves that same guy who went to the McDonald's, because he had a lot of interesting quotes. He's actually if you go on my YouTube channel, he's actually in a couple of, he's in some of my short films that I had to do for school. He's actually in all 3, although one of them he's not credited, because in my autobiography, he's the guy that punches me in the face. So, what's funny is, he always had these weird quotes, and probably his most famous one, he would always say, like, guys, I got a lot of heat on me. He loved saying that. And so I remember we went to go see the movie Renfield. It was 10 people total. And we were very much like the loudest people in the theater. We found it hysterical while other people did not. And by the way, $13 for an Angry Orchard at the theater? Are you fucking kidding me? And like, what? And what's funny is the manager had to come out because I had my ID. I am 21. He came out, he said, well, I need to see you open it before you enter the theater. What the fuck purpose does that serve? To see me open it? Like, what is that? Like, I can't just click it when I'm in the theater? I don't know. But anyway, what's funny about when we saw Renfield, the whole movie we were laughing. But there was one serious scene in the movie, and it made us laugh the hardest because all of a sudden, the actress Awkwafina just says, okay, we got a lot of heat on us. And as soon as that happened, we all, I was for 2 minutes straight crying of laughter. It was so stupid, but I loved it. Renfield was also a really good movie. I've seen a couple movies, and by the way, the Mario movie I thought was the most boring piece of crap ever. I thought it was whatever. And what's funny is I told someone, because I have this thing, I don't like doing this, but because of my insomnia as well, I sometimes have a tendency to fall asleep in the movie theater. It started last year when I saw like the Batman. I fell asleep for like 20 minutes. It almost happened with the Northman, but I was able to stay awake because the movie was very good. The last Avatar movie, I fell asleep for like the last 20 minutes. And the Mario movie, I fell asleep for like a middle, towards the end, 15 minutes. Like, and it's not, I kind of like zone in and out, like my head is going up and down, my eye, it's very hard for me to stay awake sometimes. But there's some movies where I could stay awake the whole time, like when I saw Top Gun Maverick, Violent Night. Actually, the last Guardians of the Galaxy, like the third one, I actually was able to stay awake during. Surprisingly. But it's funny, when I saw Mario, I'm talking to someone who is, let's just say he's older than me, and he was like, "You fell asleep during the Mario movie? What?" I'm like, it's by the same people that did the fucking Minions movies. I don't know, I didn't realize that, so I didn't know what to expect. It's so boring. I didn't care. I just thought, and I don't care about any of the quote-unquote controversy around Chris Pratt's accent. I don't give a fuck. I just thought it was a boring movie. So don't watch Mario. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was surprisingly entertaining, because I don't like the Marvel movies, and I surprisingly hated Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I can't stand that movie, despite the fact that it has Stallone and Kurt Russell in it. It breaks my heart. But it's a terrible movie. Guardians 3 was actually not that bad. But you know what? I just realized something, because I gave up. This is way going back to something I said earlier. I think I said earlier. I can't remember a lot of things in my life. But I said that I was going through caffeine withdrawals. And that I am. But I also said I wanted to stop doing that because I was off the radio. Because I did a radio show at school. It was called the Pork Chop Express, based off of the truck. And I would always have a bang before I do it. So, you know what? I want to be entertaining. So I'm gonna have some of a Bang energy drink. I'm gonna drink it right now. And while I drink this, you'll be reminded of why I can turn women into water slides. All right. See how fast it kicks the fuck in. Don't worry, I got a little more in it, so we'll see how much more I drink. It's funny though, on the radio I did something. See, it hits strong. But I did something on the radio back in April. I say that in April was a month ago. This was probably a month ago it happened. Where we were playing on a Saturday, we played vinyl records for 24 hours straight. We had DJs come in and out. And the teacher promised. He's like, "I'm going to be on from midnight to 2 playing music that I like." And I was like, okay. And I said I was going to do 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. And we were all going to have like a party from like 10 p.m. to midnight, like finishing it out. And we did. But then the teacher was like, "Oh, well, I'm going to do, 8. I'm going to do 8 in the morning to, noon." So I decided to do something, and what I did, I went from midnight until 8 in the morning on the radio, and I thank God from midnight to 4, I had my buddy who I mentioned earlier has all the cool quotes. He helped me out, and I had another awesome person. He helped me out from 2 to 4 with me, and we had a good time. So I was by myself from 4 until 8, so still a good block of time. But that is 8 hours where I had to play vinyl records. Then I went back in. I was supposed to be back on at 4, but the guy who stayed with me from midnight to 4, he had a show. So I said, look, he's doing 4 hours. I'm going to help him out with 2 because he helped me out with mine. So I was on for 2 with his, then 4 to 6. And then 10 to midnight, I showed up to... I showed back up because I thought we were going to have a party, but then I ended up just going back on the air. And at that point, I was very sleep deprived. And I don't remember much of what we said. I remember 2 things that I said. And apparently I said worse. I don't think I swore, so that's why I could still be on the radio. But I said something along the lines of, like, someone was banging on the door, and I opened up the door, and I'm like, "Hey, Gary, get in here!" It's like, "Gary, that is not a stripper, it is a door. Treat it with some respect." And I said that on the air. Then my other friend who was on from 10 to midnight, and I co-hosted with him, he liked pinning people up having debates. So we debated. Someone else had the topic of microwave popcorn, and I had kettle cooked. Now, I haven't had kettle cooked popcorn since probably I was 10. So I apparently, the only thing I remember, I don't know how this thought jumped into my mind, but it did. I started saying along the lines of, alright, look, kettle cooked popcorn has the sex appeal. Imagine it like a nice blonde versus a cheap slab of meat hooker. That's what we got with kettle cooked popcorn. Look, there's more effort put into it. That that was basically my argument for kettle cooked popcorn. And I don't know why. And literally, and those were only 2 things out of 2 hours, so I don't remember anything else. And then after that, I had to go into work at midnight until 7 in the morning. So yeah, I had a very long day. Oh, and before that started, because that was on a Saturday. Friday, I had my radio show, but I also had to help film someone's short film, and you can find it on YouTube. It's pretty amazing. It's called Crabula. Just look it up. I guarantee you it'll be the first thing that shows up. I'm actually in another short film. I was in like 7 short films from people, but I'll tell you another one I'm looking for right now because I always forget the full title. If you look, it's interesting. So the 2 other short films that I'm in, aside from my own that is on my YouTube channel, the other 2, if you go on YouTube that I'm in, it's called Crabula, and the other one it's a long title, so get a pen, bitches! While you do that, I'll have another sip of my Bang energy drink. Alright, here it is. You got your pen? Good. This film is called Let me start over. Student short film / The Day Washington Hall Stood Still and Took a Turn for the Worst. Those are the 2 that are on YouTube that I am also in. But yeah, I was in 7 of them. And what's funny about one of them is this was like my longest day ever. And then at the last second, someone asked me if I could help them film their short film, and I said sure because she helped me out with mine, so I felt obligated. And I had to walk around. Mind you, we did not get permission to film anywhere. I'm just kidding. Of course I'm kidding. But what's funny is I had to walk around like a very public place wearing a turtleneck that was under my button-up shirt. We had like weird, I don't know fucking makeup terms because I'm a guy, alright? But like weird, like black makeup under my eyes to make me look more tired, and I had like a cross around my neck. And I had to like walk around various churches, sit in alleyways. It was so weird. And I still have no idea what that film is because that's also not on YouTube and I didn't see it. But yeah, that was my semester, dressing up like creepy priests and walking around public areas shouting nonsense. Yeah, that was my school year. What was yours like? I'm gonna have my final sip of my energy drink, and then I'll tell you another quick story, because I told a couple of these stories in my episode that I wanted to upload that the audio got corrupted with, so I'm kind of repeating myself, but hey, you know what? You didn't know these stories, so I'm just here to entertain. That's right, ladies. Okay, let me drink this. Oh, okay, it's there. Okay, I did it! Caffeine withdrawals aren't worth it. Just ruin your liver, kids. Okay. I'll tell you another story, about how awkward as fuck someone in my class was, because if you watch my short film, I'm not 100% proud of it, but a lot of other people that I've shown, I haven't heard, like, anybody that really disliked it, unless they're not being honest with me, which is possible, but whatever. Everyone that I've shown it to has said it's good to, like, for what that movie was trying to be, it was great. Because if you don't know, my short film on YouTube is about me trying to come up with an idea for my short film. So it's me going through like 5 different things that could be short films. So, alright. My whole goal with that was also to get everybody in the class on board, including the teacher. However, there was one guy who wasn't in that class, but was still, like, you know, always... Oh, God, sorry, the bang. Anyway, there was someone else in my class who we didn't really hang out with because, well, you'll understand why. But I was like, I'm not putting him in my short film. Absolutely fucking not. He's a nut fucking job. Okay, so I'll give you an example of the kind of guy that I'm dealing with, alright? So I had to take a public speaking class, and he happened to be in it. Now, for one of the speeches, we had to do, it was called a special occasion speech, where it could be, graduation speech, anniversary, birthday party, or you could do a eulogy. Now, the teacher also said, look, it has to be about someone you know, but if you're doing a eulogy, it could be for someone that has already passed, or you could be writing one about someone who has not passed. Now, granted, I did a eulogy because I had trouble doing public speaking in the sense where I would always, I'd really start talking fast because that's what I do on the radio and here, and my voice would kind of start shaking a little bit. So I'm like, okay, if I do a eulogy, I won't be talking. I know I won't talk fast, but the shakiness of my voice, I can use that to my advantage, okay? But that's beside the point. My speech was all right. But the first person to give a eulogy, who went shortly before me, he was actually reading his dad's eulogy. And so many people at the end of it, were crying. And he sits down, very, very good. He did such a great job. But it was for his actual dad that passed away. Now, as soon as he sat down, the awkward as fuck guy just goes, wait, so am I the only one who didn't cry? And we all look at him what the fuck is wrong with you? Why would you fucking say that? How, what? But it gets better. And then he says, I'm sorry, I guess I'm just lucky that both my parents are still alive. How the fuck could you say it? Oh my god, who could ever think to say that? It's literally, it's insane. It's completely insane that someone would think that's okay to say. Look, I have trouble, understanding what people think of me, but I can read a room okay. Look, I've said some pretty stupid things, but never anything that bad. Unless I have, then let me know, because I'm almost positive I haven't. And I'm not counting on my show. I'm talking about real people. If you know who I am out there, if I've ever said something that fucking stupid, let me know, because I would love to say that you're wrong. But the other thing is with that guy is we would always, I know me and a few other people, we would always feel bad that we didn't include him. But then he would say just weird fucking shit like that. I remember back last semester, he said we had to do this thing called a mental health minute. And I don't remember what his was. And I didn't really remember this because maybe I wasn't there that day. But I heard it from everybody. He was saying something I've been, because he kept interrupting the therapist. We did it with an actual therapist. We started talking about it, and then we put him out over the radio. Hopefully they didn't put out his, though, because he said something where it's he kept interrupting her, saying just ridiculous, stupid shit. But then he says, yeah, I've been reading some books about the Axis powers and World War II, and they make some good points. That's holy fuck, dude, shut up. I'll give you another one last story about this fella. So he was in my my news production class, and we all had to, at the beginning, the first half of the semester, we had to each do 2 news packages, right? And well, let's just say his were terrible. Mine weren't the greatest thing ever, but at least they were better put together. I'll just say that, because that was not one of my favorite classes, but I didn't hate it. So we had to then produce them afterwards, learn how to actually film them, yada yada yada. You understand how it goes. Well, hopefully you do, unless you're stupid. But I had already gone at this point. It was me and my partner. We already went. We were the second people to go. It's sad. I really. We would always bust on the teacher. The teacher was cool, but, we would always mess with him. And that was one of the times I felt so much respect for him, because he said it was an odd number, and he's okay, I'll partner with him. He knew. And If there's one thing I said, look, whenever I have my contacts in, I can't be the talent on screen because my eyes just can't keep up. I don't know why, like, just to me, the words start blending together. And what do you think happens? Oh, I get put on talent. Oh, shocker. And then someone else, thank God, took the fall. But we would always make jokes like it's like something bad happened. It was not well put together. And granted, this was a joint effort between the student and the teacher. And some of the stuff got messed up, and we had 2 hours to do it, okay? And someone made a joke like, oh, yep, teacher's fault. And he made it, like, it was clearly a joke. He said it once, whatever. Now, everything started getting messed up. And they were like, okay, we told everyone, because I was one of the 4 people in the control room, and we were like, okay, you know what, just have everybody out there, take a few minutes, we'll figure it out. Now, granted, I was not one of the producers at this point, so I could have as well, but this guy kept said to everyone over the microphone, like, yeah, it's the teacher's fault, not mine. You guys are doing great. It's the teacher's fault. You guys are great. It's the teacher's fault. And he kept saying that over and over, and boy, oh boy, I'm glad I'm not a teacher, because I would have fucking beat the shit out of him. And even though I wasn't the producer, I felt such an obligation to help the teacher. I didn't know what their news packages were. I didn't know how they were running their news stories, but I was like, look, I'll help you. I understand. I understand. So I did. And we finally got it, but throughout the whole time, he's like, yep, teacher's fault. I mean, I don't know, like, I'm glad that I'm done with that school, and now I get to move on to another. Yip fucking E. I'm so happy. More school. Oh man, I don't care about school. I'm so done with it. It's exhausting. Maybe it won't be as bad if I can get into the fucking doctor. If all the elderly can die off, so I can just get my insomnia medication. Fucking please, okay? Hey, you know what? I just brought it full circle, so I think I will end the episode there. But before I do, I would like to say this. Anybody out there who knows me personally, not just the ladies, of course, but if you are, hey, that's an advantage. If you know me, and you'd like to come on and do an episode of The Ranting Redhead, just reach out to me, because I would love to have guests on this summer. I want to do something a little different, and I have 2 rules about it. 1, you start the topic. You do not tell me the topic beforehand, because I wanna really show off that I'm better at improving than you. But that's beside the point. And number 2, don't make it political. That's all I ask. So if you'd like to be on the hit show The Ranting Redhead, well, good news for you. You can just reach out, and we'll have some laughs. I'll provide the Bang energy drink as long as you can provide not being a little bitch during my show. That's all I ask. And with that, I will end the episode there. Thank you all so much for listening, and I'll talk to you all later. See you later, you bitches and bastards.